Hey guys, Mustached Tom here to review the movie Smile 2. And it's been a while since I've reviewed a movie, so I do apologize on that. And this one's a little also on the late side, so I apologize on that. I have been catching up on my retrospective review, and that'll be coming out later, in fact, so there's that to look forward to. Anyway, getting back into focus of Smile 2. So, I thought that Smile was an isolated incident, but now we have a sequel to deal with. And we begin the movie in recapping it as objectively as possible. So we are dealing with an opening where we see this man drive into this, these gun people, or like they're selling drugs or so on and so forth. He puts on a mask. We can see that something is like this, like, thing he passes, like, burns. So there's definitely something, at least, I guess, it's telling us that there's something following him, I guess. Anyway, he pulls a gun on this guy, on these guys, plural, and, he tries to kill them, or kill one of them, in this attempt to, as he quotes, pass it on, in reference to the bigger picture of what this, whatever it is, whatever this it is, the vagary of it being from whatever was in Smile 1. Anywho, as he manages to scramble away, our survivor, after causing an even bigger incident, killing one of the other people as he's being chased by like 3 more people that get to him, I guess also part of his gang or whatever, are like trying to hunt him down, and then as he runs into the street he gets hit by a vehicle, and the blood motions in the wave of a car, or a smile rather. We then cut to our main character named Sky Riley. I assume that's her popular name, I don't know, but at any rate, she's in the news, and we see that she's out and about, dealing with crowds. She's quite the celebrity, dealing with this, and then it cuts to her doing this, a little dance number. Very reminiscent sort of vibe from this movie, and thinking about Joker 2, which is still on my mind in terms of like, sort of the idea behind it, and the unreliable narrator definitely coming back into play in this movie as well. This movie isn't as much as a musical as Joker 2 is. The celebrity here does like 2 songs, I want to say, at most, I think? Maybe 3. Anyway, she's currently dealing with an injury. We can see the back of her is a little bit messed up, like, as well as her stomach. And in dealing with it, she tries to take some pills, but they are knocked into the sink when she tries to take them. And then she goes to one of her suppliers, named Lewis, who pulls a weapon on her, and he seems a bit freaked out. Her handler's named Paul here, and he does continue to freak out until we see him essentially be taken over by said entity, and see him smile and begin to smash his face in with a heavy weight. This causes our main character to vomit and make her way back home. During which she tries to get some sleep, but she hears some sort of scorching noise that we, the audience, hears as well, in which awakens her. She briefly sees a vision of the body, but we do quickly cut to one of her workers, Darius, arriving on a photo shoot the next day, and her prepping to go through this said photo shoot. But she's still quite thrown off by this whole thing that has occurred, so she's trying to figure out if you can gain DNA from vomit, which I guess is an interesting thing. I know you can get fingerprints and DNA from from your fingers, from touching things. So you probably have to touch the food. I mean, it would go in your mouth, but the vomit would be coming from in your body. So I'm not sure if that exactly works the same per se. I don't know. Anyway, so she gets a message about her being in the compromised situation last night from an unknown caller, and she ignores it for the time being. She then has a moment where she's looking at the mirror and she sees the body behind her following her movements, and these rare and more bizarre occurrences continue to get down on her. She's continuing her, press tour, as it were, as a celebrity, by signing some stuff. Gets a crazed fan initially at one point, and then a girl who has this smile. She never says anything, she just has that smile, indicating or implying that it could be the entity that we are referring to all throughout this movie. And her situation only seems to get worse and worse as she's asked to be a speaker at this event for children or something. She's reading off of this teleprompter, but the teleprompter is not moving in any which way, so she's trying to spitball it, and she does not do a great job of that. We see just how quickly she devolves into rattling off about how insecure this job really does make her feel in this position, and the people are just like, huh? What's going on? And eventually it does sort of go back to normal. But she does get another smile upon that too, in which she is freaking out again, and the people who are witnessing this are like, what's going on? What? Yeah, so on and so forth. So she makes a call to one of her friends after this next debacle. Sorry for the cut. Anywho, as I think I was referring to when she makes contact with one of her friends, which she had a falling out with, named Gemma, or Jenna. I'm not sure which one it was, honestly. Anyway. So, she takes a little break while waiting for her friend. And sees a figure while she's waiting of an individual, moving toward her potentially. However, when Gemma arrives and things are returned to suddenly normal, giving us the idea that not everything that has just been playing out has actually been happening. As I referred to earlier, the idea of the unreliable narrator. So, we have this, probably the most abrupt cut in the movie, where everything, after she explains everything to Jenna, she ends up in a cut of X amount of time where we're suddenly following either this other individual bleeding and injured in the leg, and waking up and then her waking up after that as if that was her dream or her memory or something. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so Gemma and her have quite a bad history, so that doesn't bode well at the tail end of it. And even more so is that we get some more smile stuff going on here. And to make matters worse is that once that is overcome, that her mom is very demanding of her to, sing the song, and she performs it, and during it she sees an individual with a smile and she gets injured. While we see the injury, then we cut to her fallen over but not injured in that way that we saw. Once again, others are questioning her. The reliable narrator once again pushed to another, pushing that once more. So, she is dealt with this now in quite a few ways. So, she eventually confronts that message person of the unknown caller who messaged her again at some other point. And she decides to finally meet with this individual. And he tries to explain what's going on. He explains it as this supernatural phenomena or demon that is passed from one person to another in this way that it will torture you, and it will pass on if when you die in front of a witness, and that witness will then be the next person who it befalls upon. The whatever this is, be it a curse or whatever. So it's still in a vague vein of, explaining what is going on. And he talks about how his own brother was among these, as he refers to them as host, and that there are 8 others before his brother was among the ones taken. However, during their little meeting, she gets noticed, so she flees that little area. So she freaks out and starts looking to some ways to calm her nerves. She makes her way back home, and here is where she gets surrounded by an army of people in the smiler category, standing there, moving toward her in a slow motion way. And even when she makes her way to a different room, there are still more of them. And they eventually cover her mouth. This is where we get another flashback. I believe this is either, again, her or the previous victim. I'm not sure which one is which at this point. Of this black-haired woman, if it's not her, in this case, getting into this clash with, I think it might have been her ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, I'm not sure which, but based on their communication, it would probably be X something. Anyway, after that, the mom watches over her, the main character, Sky, and then the mom gets smiled and killed. And we see that she's the one holding the glass, so it is very crystal clear that I think from this point moving forward, and when we saw the hand move into her body, that she's already being taken over by this entity. I think is the assumption we as the audience are meant to take from this point moving forward, that nothing she's doing is of her own volition, of her own control, as it were. She's already lost this battle, in a way. Anyway, so her mom is dead, and she's trying to run from this, she walks up, she takes a gun from a police officer, or a security guard, rather, and Jenna comes with, despite, all the hectics, but then she gets a call from Gemma, and then she looks over and sees Jenna being smiled. So she's trying to make her way back to this guy who, it's been some time before the two events where she met up with him previously. The reason why she left initially is because he brought up the only way that he thought of to get rid of this would be to temporarily fake her death and then bring her back to life. So that way there wouldn't be a witness that would it would pass on to, essentially, is the sort of idea here. This guy, his name was Morris, by the way, who brings her into the freezer once they meet up, and leaves her in this cold room, and where she meets the black-haired woman, who smiles up. And she tries to inject herself with this needle to kill herself in the process, but she ends up awakening in a concert instead. So this is like where the unreliable narrator just goes, whoop, bye. So she's now at the concert all of a sudden. We see a mimic of her in front of her, doing a smile, and we see this smile demon creature come out of her copy and go inside of her, and then we then proceed to see her smash her. Well, we don't see it, but we hear it, and we hear the audience's reaction to her taking herself out among the entire crowd, which, with that being the canonical ending, would be the assumption that everyone who has now witnessed this, that it is spread to all of these people. And that was Smile 2. So, I think that there are a little bit of confusion notions about where she lost control, but I think, in paying attention close enough, I think it's when it's when the hand first goes into her when she's in the room with all the smiley people, and then that's like the end of her control, essentially, and then everything we are seeing after, as I implied, is sort of like she's only being vassaled to believe that she's fighting back, but she's not really at all. Other words, this movie has a very similar sort of like secondary objective outside of being like, well, there's this demonic smile demon about, and it's obviously in accordance to the character, talking about how the life of celebrityism is treated in regards to the fans, in regards to the people you work under, technically speaking. Her own mom, who is in a sense using her to be up in this echelon of people rather than, supporting her when she feels like she even needs to take a minor break. She'd even want to drop that pretense. And the mom even mentions at one point in the movie, like, they can be placed in so much trouble for not fulfilling their part of, I guess, a contract, which I don't know when a contract is brought up officially in any regard, so I'm assuming that's just something you have to assume that they signed at some point in the movie beforehand, I guess. So there are a few details here that I think are missing to a degree. Not that I'm necessarily saying that's necessarily bad, but it does draw a little minor confusion, if anything. And yeah, when it's you get these abrupt cuts of a character's location, it definitely alludes to, again, this idea of this lack of control or location in this case. I'm fairly certain the first movie didn't do that, to my knowledge. I could be misremembering. It's been a bit since I've seen Smile 1, but I don't remember characters when they awakened from someone smiling, they ended up elsewhere, but I don't know. At any rate, I probably would give this movie like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I'd probably dip to a 6 if I'm being honest with it. I feel like, again, those details in terms of like getting us to follow, at least in the terms of like understanding where her path is a little bit more clearly. At least, I don't even mind the whole, like, her being taken over thing, whatever, that's fine. I just mean, like, setting up her more role model-y celebrity type archetype that they're clearly going for. Having that contract, having those talks about, like, if you miss this, then that's it, you're done. Outside of the mom, because that's the way she's pushing it. It'd be interesting to see another character either sort of allude to that in a different way or something along those lines to help us illustrate that is indeed the case, but I digress. Anyway, that's my review for Smile 2, and if you ended up enjoying it, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description when I head over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers. Second to my PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly, and third to my Discord server you can join. Collab, shield, all that cool stuff, and until next time everyone, bye bye!